Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. I have a very disturbing story that I'd like to share with you, and it's on the New York Post. It's an article that talks about a kindergartner taking his dad's heroin to school and says that it makes him a superhero. So I'm going to read some of this article, and of course I'm going to add my 2 cents to it as well. It says a 5-year-old boy took a superhero stamped baggie of his dad's heroin to his Massachusetts kindergarten, telling teachers it turned him into a Spider-Man when he tasted it, according to a report. The youngster sparked alarm at the H.B. Lawrence Elementary School in Holyoke last Thursday after showing off the baggie with a stamp of the Marvel superhero, officials told the Daily Hampshire Gazette. After his apparent confession about tasting it, telling teachers he put it in his mouth, the boy was raced to Baysdale Medical Center in Springfield, the report says. He appeared healthy and officials believed he may have escaped ingesting any of the drug from the sealed baggie. The boy loved Spider-Man, Holyoke Police Lieutenant James Albert told the paper. Our officers were quite taken by it all. You don't often deal with this. His 29-year-old dad, Benny Garcia, was arrested after officers found him sleeping in bed on top of numerous other bags holding the same white powder, according to the paper. The officers located the same sort of baggie of heroin stamped Spider-Man that the child brought to school in a dresser drawer of the defendant's bedroom. Assistant District Attorney Matthew Green said in court, calling it a particularly shocking and egregious case. Police found at least 170 baggies of heroin, as well as baggies and Ziploc bags of cocaine, the paper said, citing court documents. When officers told Garcia what happened to his son, he became very emotional, according to the court documents. Garcia pleaded not guilty to charges of drug possession and reckless endangerment of a child, the report said. Judge William Rhoda ordered him held until a dangerousness hearing scheduled for November 20th. The boy and an infant sibling were removed from the family home by the Department of Children and Families, the report said. Now, as you see, parents have become very reckless in regards to how they're doing things around their children. They have these habits and things that they do with drugs and I'm going to even say with weapons, just having weapons just laying around. They've become so careless and reckless to where they're not even considering that their children can get a hold of these things. Now, heroin, cocaine, meth, whatever type of drugs it is, we're seeing more and more to where parents are using these things around their children. Children are gaining access to these things, and because these people are so in a zone, this is what drugs do to you. It puts you in a zone. Because they're so in a zone, they are not considering the safety of their children or the possibility that their children can get a hold of these things. And so in this case, it's very sad indeed that this child was able to get a hold of these things. But on the same token, he didn't ingest any of it, but just through just a weird twist, he ended up taking some to school and telling the teacher that the stuff in this bag turns him into a superhero. So this was the environment that this father and this mother created to where their child was able to get a hold of very dangerous drugs. And so now as a result, their children have been taken out of the home and they're going to determine, the father, they said, got emotional when he saw this, but this is why you got to get a grip on yourself. You can't allow yourself to be pulled into drugs and things that are dangerous to your children such as this. Drugs open up many doors. They open up the doors to demons, demonic possession as well. Okay, demons can come into your environment and upset things, but they can also take possession. Okay, coming into your environment and actually taking possession of someone's body are two different things, but they can definitely upset your environment, in which we see that happening in many cases, you see. But we all know that the drug epidemic was created by someone, or should I say a group of people, and it is the populations of people that are being victimized by it or being overtaken by it. Okay, but the end results are never too good, never too good. So I just want to share this story with you. Those of you who have become free from drugs, applaud yourself. And because all of us have had drug addicts in our families, we know what it looks like. We know how dangerous it is, and we know how it can just literally rip a whole household to pieces, you see. And so stories such as this, it just really bothers you. Although his drug of choice was something else, many of us have seen our neighborhoods and black neighborhoods ravished by crack cocaine. And we know how the stuff got there. Many have lost family members because of these drugs. So all we can do is pray for our people that they are not overtaken by these things, and educate our young people so that they don't even get involved with it to begin with. Because many times it starts when they are young. They are dealing with a friend or even another family member who turns them on to these things, you see. And drug addiction, as we have seen in many communities around the world, okay, not just in black communities, but many communities around the world, we have seen that it can literally destroy a family. And sometimes I don't think people take it serious enough, because they say, well, it's not happening in my house, but your household can be affected by it, because a lot of times people who are heavily involved in drugs, they do things that affect other people, you see. So this is why this should be a concern for all of us, and we should keep our families and our communities in prayer that the Most High can break the stronghold, okay? Now with that, family, I will say shalom.
Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.